We're learning Perek of halacha. The Rambam begins in Chayovim Koros Achilas. We'll go down to the Peirush. In Chayovim Koros Ela al Achilas Atzmoi Shel Chametz. You're not Chayav Koros unless Chas v'Shalom you eat actual Chametz. However, if you eat a mixture of Chametz, you're going to say Habavli, which is a type of mixture, another type. If you eat them on Pesach, the Chayiv is Malchus, vein by chorus. There's no chorus, Shenema, as it says, Kol Machmetzes, Chelu. And you get Malchus. When is this, that when you get Malchus, if you ate the chametz in a mixture which within the amount of 3 bayim, that's when he gets Malchus. These 3 bayim, according to the Rambam, are called achilas pras, a lotion of a piece, meaning a half of a bread. That is 3 bayim according to the Rambam. Therefore, within that period of time, he's over on Isam and Torah, and he gets Malchus. The Rashi, however, says, another Rishonim, that the shiur of Kedei Achilas Pras is 4 bayim. That's an Eruvin 82b. However, im ein b'taruvis kazayis b'kedei achilas sholish bayim, if there is no mix in the mixture, there's not the amount of 3 bayim, al bisha osaloi lechoil, even though it's forbidden for him to eat from it, im ochol ein aloike, if he ate, he doesn't get malchus, elamakan oisei malchus maldus. He gets malchus maldus, which means you give him malchus midrabona. You turn the page, you go to the Peirush again. The Rae argues, Omar Avrom, Harav Zal, the Rif, who he calls Harav, Paskins be'elu kerabonon, Yishum de'en kizayis v'gdei l'achilas pras. This is Machlokes Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachomim, and the Rif himself, Mem Gimel, writes that on the posuk called Machmetzes lo yisei chelu, the Rabbi Eliezer says, L'rabbis, these mixtures, because the posuk adds it, I think there's a chayav of chorus for eating it. So it says in the posuk, Yikol oichel chometz v'nichuso, that only on chometz, which is only chometz, you get an einish chorus, but on its mixture, somebody who eats it, it's only a lav. But who says this? Rabbi Eliezer. The Chacham disagree. They say Chacham is dogen gomu, if it's a real bread, onush chorus. A mixture, nothing. B'loi klum. But even though the Chacham is saying b'loi klum, it means you don't get malchus. Of course, there's an issur. There is an issur. And when the Rabbanan say that you don't get malchus, that's only where there's no kizayas b'kedei achilas pras, which according to the Rambam is these 3, within the period of time it takes these 3 eggs, such as kriseach habavli ukiyotzebo. Where there is a kizayas b'kedei achilas pras, even according to the Chacham, you'll get malchus. The Magen Mishnah wants to answer the objection of the Ravid that the Rambam is talking about only when he ate a kazayas b'kedei achilas pras, he gets malchus, even though if he would eat it normally, it doesn't have a kazayas b'kedei achilas pras. However, the Rif is of the opinion that since the way you eat it, to the page again, go down to the Peirush at the bottom, in the regular way, there's no kazayas b'kedei achilas pras, you never get malchus if you eat it on Pesach, even if he did it otherwise and has a kazayas. We'll see that this has to do with the concept of if someone does something unusual, not ordinary, is he considered sane, or not, and therefore you would not be liable according to the Rif. The Maggid Mishnah asks the question, why isn't he chayav koros? The Gemara says, im sochim, why did the Chachomim disagree with Rabbi Eliezer? By Kusei HaBavli, this mixture, he ate a kezayis iso. And the Gemara answers, leave Kusei HaBavli alone, that it doesn't have a kezayis b'gdei achilus pras, which would seem to infer that even according to the Chachomim, if there was a kezayis and he ate it, he's chayav koros, because we have no posuk according to the Chachomim that is only a lav, and it would be like any other mixture of isur, such as chaylev, if treif of fats is mixed in, or blood, that they don't have a posuk miyuchid. Still, the Rambam writes in Hilchos Chametz that anyone who eats a kezayis within a mixture, in the period of Akdei Achilles Pras, these 3 eggs, is chayiv. And the Maggid Mishnah points out that the Ramban already asked. Go to the next page at the bottom. The Kesef Mishnah also asks, why shouldn't he be chayiv koros? And he argues that one can't say the Rambam paskins like the Chachomim, because even according to the Chachomim, Kuseyach is they say the Kuseyach is something that you use to, it's a dip, and when you dip in it, it's impossible that you'll eat in a achilles pras a kezayis. But if you drink it or eat it the way it is, you actually will eat a kezayis in that period of time, but that's not the normal fashion of eating. And somebody who does so is botla daitoy eitzel kol odom. His das is bottle to that of every other human being. And the Racham is saying, therefore, if it mixes is without any isur, and how could the Rambam paskin that you get malchus? So who's the Rambam going according to? Is it Rabbi Eliezer? Then it doesn't make sense why he mentions Kedei Achilles Pras. If it's according to the Rachomim, why they shouldn't get a malchus? Furthermore, he asks, if there's a kezayis b'kedei Achilles Pras, when you eat it normally in its normal fashion, that means to do dipping, and there's a lot of chometz, even the Chachomim, not only Rebbe Eliezer will agree that there's chakaris. And if there isn't enough food, kezayis b'kedei Achilles Pras, everyone will agree that you're potter because you didn't eat a kezayis. So, but it must be that they disagree when they're eating it by dipping, and there's no kezayis with achilles pras, but when he swallows it, there is a kezayis. And the Racham say that he's potter because he did something which is not normal, and you're potter for that. Rabbi Eliezer feels that if the posuk comes to tell you, kol machmetzes, that if you happen to ingest a kezayis, even if it's not normal, you are liable. And this would seem to be an obvious understanding of the Lashon Rambam, where he says, when is this so? He ate a kezayis chometz within the mixture. And the Maggid Mishnah explains, because etc., there's no kezayis within the period of time of achilus pras, and he's poter. Like the Chachomim would say, alei ruvay v'loy klum, because he didn't need a kezayis. And even though there's no shiur when you would eat it normally in its normal fashion of dipping, still, if he ate a kezayis b'kedei achilles pras, meaning he swallowed the whole thing rather than dipping it, he would get malchus. So the Kesef Mishnah asks the question, how can you explain the Rambam this way? That's only according to Rabbi Eliezer. That if you eat it not the normal fashion you get malchus, because he has kol machmetzes, he has the isur of you're not allowed to eat anything that is chometzly. But according to Chacham, you're potter entirely, so why should he get malchus? If the Rambam passes like the Rabbanon, it says misov sovle. If he ate it in a not normal fashion, the Chacham say botlo daito etzel kol odom. So the Kesef Mishnah cites, there are those who want to explain that the Rambam learns the Gemara that if he swallows it whole rather than dipping it, his action is nullified because it goes against the manner in which it's eaten in the whole world. That it doesn't mean that the Chachamim say it's potted totally if there's a kezayis b'gdei achilas pras, because he actually ate a kezayis. But when it says in the Gemara, bottle means that he's not talking about kiseach that has a kezayis, and it would seem that he's talking where he didn't eat a kezayis, and therefore you're potter because he didn't eat a total kezayis. And he paskins that kiseach chayav koros, if you swallowed it, even in going to the Chachamim, you would be chayav, and the Rambam might agree with that. We now continue, but he's still the Kesef Mishnah asks, if the Rambam paskins like the Chachamim, why does he say that you get malchus? And he brings the posuk that Rabbi Eliezer says, Kol machmetzes. The Chachamim don't learn that posuk. Furthermore, Rabbi Eliezer brought the posuk Kol machmetzes only to obligate when it doesn't have a kezayis b'gdei achilas pras, and the Rambam brings it only when there is a kezayis b'gdei achilas pras. And furthermore, he writes that potem ikoros k'sheish b'kezayis b'gdei achilas pras. Why should chometz be different than any other issur? Any other issur that you chayav koros on its mixture when you have a kezayis, why should chometz be more lenient than other yisurim? Therefore, the Kesef Mishnah explains that the Rambam understood the machlokes of the Chachamim Rabbi Eliezer when he ate it not in the normal fashion, and there is no kezayis b'gdei achilas pras, and in the normal fashion, and he ate it in such a way that there is a kezayis, and he paskins actually not like the Chachamim, but rather like Rabbi Eliezer, and not like the Chachamim, as the Rosh explains, as the Rae Gann writes in the first explanation. And we find this also written in the name of the Chachmei Sfard. And so it would seem from the Rambam and Sefer HaMitzvah. So he writes, Kidiver Rabbi Eliezer, Shal Chometz Dogen Gomo Onish Kores, Val Eruvoi V'Lav. And on its Eruv, there is a Lav. But even if we say he passes like Rabbi Eliezer, the question still comes up of the Ramban. Why does the Rambam say he's potter from Kores? If he actually ate a kezayis, he should be chayav. Why should chometz be different than any other issur? That if you eat within that period of time of normal eating of 3 eggs at pras, you should be chayav just like by chaylev and dam. And furthermore, according to Eliezer, there's an added aspect. We learn that why is a mixture forbidden according to Eliezer? Because that which is mixed in is counted as the issur itself, and therefore when he eats issur v'heter, even if he doesn't have a kezayis, according to Eliezer, that which is mixed in activates the measure of a kezayis. And if the Rambam paskins Rabbi Eliezer, he should have said b'kiseach, even if he ate a kezayis of the mixture, even though there's no kezayis chometz in the mixture, because according to Rabbi Eliezer, the heter would add to the shiur of chometz, and we will continue here in the next shiur.